A chilling silence pervades the dimly lit mansion. The crack of a gunshot shatters the stillness, and a body collapses on the cold marble floor. The leader of the world's most powerful crime syndicate, known simply as the King, has fallen. Blood pools beneath him, the faint glint of his expensive watch glimmering in the dim light. His hand twitches, reaching for the phone on the table beside him, fingers sticky with blood. With his last breath he sends a message. It's done. The King is dead. The camera lingers on his bloodied hand before pulling back, revealing the empty, opulent mansion. No one knows who struck the fatal blow or why. Was it revenge, or a carefully orchestrated act? A sense of unease lingers as the world begins to shift in the wake of his death. The criminal empire now stands on the edge of collapse, and a dangerous game is about to begin. The silence lingers like a heavy fog. Each breath in the mansion feels unnatural. Luca Vella, the protagonist, stands in a dimly lit corner, staring at the phone in his hand. The message from Giovanni Rossi was a warning, not just to the underworld, but to him as well. The King is dead. The words resonate like an echo in the void. Luca clenches his fist, frustration boiling over. His world had already been chaotic, but now it felt as if the very foundation of the Mafia empire was crumbling. The phone vibrates in his hand. Another call. It's from Marco Ricci, an old ally, someone he hadn't spoken to in years. The voice on the other end is cold, tinged with urgency. They're coming for us. You need to make a choice now. Luca Vella knows there's no escaping this world, but as the walls close in he feels the weight of his decisions bearing down on him. Betrayal runs deeper than he thought. The lines between friend and foe are blurred. What should have been a game of power and control is now a battle for survival. Marco Ricci's voice crackles through the speaker, sending a chill down Luca Vella's spine. They had shared battles, blood, and secrets. Yet now, this voice held a strange unfamiliarity. You should have known you always trusted the wrong people. Betrayal was nothing new in their world, but this felt different. Giovanni Rossi's death was only the beginning of something much darker. There's no turning back now. As Luca paces the room, memories flood back, promises made, loyalties sworn. His Allah's voice is a constant reminder of the game they've played for years. But the rules have changed, and the stakes have been raised. What once was a fight for power is now a fight for survival. Who can they trust when everyone wears a mask? The lines between allies and enemies blur further, and Luca Vella realizes that he may have already lost the most important battle, the battle for his own soul. Luca Vella stands in front of a large framed picture of Giovanni Rossi, his former mentor and the leader of the Mafia empire. The picture feels heavy in the stillness of the room, its glass frame reflecting the dim lights above. His thoughts race, a surge of anger and disbelief overtaking him. The betrayal of his family runs deeper than anyone could have imagined. Marco Ricci's voice still echoes in his mind, telling him everything he had believed was a lie. The empire he had sworn to protect was built on lies, deceit, and blood. Luca had spent years serving Giovanni, but now he questions if he was just a pawn in a much larger game. His hands tighten into fists as he ponders what comes next. His thoughts are interrupted by a knock at the door. A figure stands in the doorway, Vincent Moretti, the enforcer of the Rossi family. His arrival signals a change, but what that change means, Luca isn't sure. Vincent Moretti doesn't speak a word, but the weight of his presence in the room speaks volumes. The Mafia's code of loyalty may no longer matter, and Luca Vella is forced to decide where his true loyalty lies. The tension in the room grows palpable as Luca Vella and Vincent Moretti stand in a long silence. Vincent finally speaks, his deep voice resonating in the stillness. The King's death isn't just a loss for the family, it's a signal. Something bigger is coming. Luca's pulse quickens as the realization hits him. Giovanni Rossi was just the first piece to fall. The balance of power in the entire underworld is shifting, and Luca is caught in the middle of it. Vincent steps closer, his cold eyes never leaving Luca. We're going to need everyone we can trust. You've always known what that means. Luca's mind races. He knows that the family is crumbling, that his loyalty to the Empire may have been misplaced. The choice before him is clear. Either he steps into the role that Giovanni once held, embracing the darkness that comes with it, or he walks away from the life he's known and risks everything for a chance at redemption. As the weight of the decision presses down on him, Luca looks at Vincent and speaks with finality. "I will end this empire, one way or another." The moment is heavy with resolve, but Luca knows that no matter which path he chooses, he'll lose a part of himself in the process. The world of crime is like a puzzle with missing pieces. And Luca Vella had thought he understood the Empire, but now, it felt like everything was falling apart. The death of Giovanni Rossi wasn't just a personal loss. It was a signal to the underworld that a new era had begun. Luca had tried to protect the legacy, but the deeper he dug, the more he uncovered. Marco Ricci's words still echoed in his mind. There's more than just family at stake. The cartel that had been working in the shadows was now making its move, pushing for control. Luca had once believed that he was working for the greater good, but now he wasn't sure what was right. The lines between loyalty and survival were getting blurry. A sudden phone call from Marco Ricci brings more bad news. The cartel is planning a massive hit on the remaining members of the Rossi family. Luca knows the time has come to act. He can't just sit back and wait for the world to crumble around him. It's time to take matters into his own hands, but at what cost? The phone call from Marco Ricci is quick and to the point. "They're coming for you, Luca. The cartel has moved in, and the hit is planned for tonight." There's no time left. The urgency in Marco's voice sends a jolt of adrenaline through Luca. Everything they had built could be destroyed in a matter of hours. Luca had always known the risks, but hearing it from Marco made it all too real. He can't help but wonder if he's become just another pawn in the game, caught in a struggle for power that was never his to win. His loyalty to Giovanni Rossi's vision now feels like a distant memory. The phone call ends abruptly, leaving Luca with nothing but a sense of dread. He looks at the map pinned on the wall, his eyes scanning the key locations. His thoughts race. There are too many pieces moving at once. He needs to find out who is behind this. Trust is a luxury Luca can no longer afford. As he grabs his coat and heads out, he's filled with an uneasy determination. Tonight, everything changes. Luca Vella stands before the Rossi family's safe house, his heart racing with anticipation. The only thing separating him from the cartel's plan is information, and Marco Ricci is nowhere to be found. Luca knows something isn't right. Marco's warning felt too vague. As the night closes in, he finds himself at the front door of the safe house, ready to confront whoever's behind the cartel's movements. He knocks firmly, a signal that the game is about to change. The door creaks open, and a familiar face appears, Vincent Moretti, the enforcer of the Rossi family. But something about Vincent's expression isn't the same. There's no warmth, no trust in his eyes, just cold calculation. "We have to move quickly, Luca," Vincent says in a low voice. "The cartel is one step ahead, and they know we're coming." Luca has learned to read people in this world, and he knows Vincent is hiding something. But for now, there's no choice but to follow his lead. As they head deeper into the house, the walls feel smaller, the air thicker. Luca can sense that something big is about to break. And it won't be pretty. Luca Vella and Vincent Moretti walk deeper into the safe house, the air thick with tension. Vincent stops at the end of a long hallway, turning to face Luca. "There's something you need to know, Luca. Marco Ricci isn't who you think he is. He's been working with the cartel for years, manipulating both sides for his own gain." The words hit Luca like a punch to the gut. Betrayal was already a constant in this world, but this was personal. Marco had been his ally, his confidante. Now, Vincent's revelation shatters everything Luca believed in. But why, Vincent? Why would Marco do this? Luca asks, his voice trembling with disbelief. Vincent looks at him with cold eyes. "Power, Luca. It's always about power. The cartel made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And now they want control of what's left of the Rossi Empire. You're either with us, or you're against us." Luca feels the weight of Vincent's words. There's no turning back now. Marco Ricci was no longer a friend. He was the enemy. And Luca is caught in the crossfire. As the night unfolds, Luca Vella finds himself standing in front of a small warehouse on the outskirts of town. His heart is racing, but his mind is clear. Vincent Moretti had told him that the time to act was now, but the weight of his decisions is not lost on him. He was no longer a loyal soldier of the Rossi family. Luca had crossed the line. The moment he learned of Marco Ricci's betrayal, everything changed. But now, standing here, at the precipice of a new war, Luca understands that survival is the only thing that matters. If he doesn't act, the cartel will take everything, and everyone he cares about. The door to the warehouse creaks open, revealing a new ally, Raul Castillo, a former member of the rival cartel, now offering Luca a chance to fight back. Raul extends his hand, and for the first time in a long while, Luca feels like he has an option. The hand of a former enemy is the only chance for redemption. As Luca grips Raul's hand, he knows the war is just beginning. The weight of betrayal hangs heavy in the air as Luca Vella stares out of the rain-soaked window of his new hideout. Everything he thought he knew about loyalty, family, and justice has been shattered. The revelation of Marco Ricci's alliance with the cartel has destroyed any remnants of trust. Luca knows that the war is no longer just about surviving. It's about taking control of the pieces left behind. The Rossi family is no longer the united front it once was. Vincent Moretti has gone rogue. Raul Castillo is offering an alliance, and Marco Ricci is pulling the strings behind the scenes. Luca's phone buzzes and he answers, his voice cold and steady. What's next? The voice on the other end is Raul Castillo, giving him the next piece of the puzzle. We need to hit them first, Luca. They know we're coming, and if we don't strike now, we're dead. Luca listens intently, the familiar spark of a plan igniting in his mind. The endgame is approaching, but so are the consequences. The question is, who will survive when the smoke clears? Luca Vella enters the dimly lit warehouse where the confrontation is set to take place. Ow! The air is thick with tension. Raul Castillo and his men are already there, waiting for Luca. As Luca steps into the room, the door creaks closed behind him. The faint sound of footsteps echoes as Raul greets him with a firm handshake. This is it. No more games. Luca nods in agreement. The cartel has made their move, and this meeting will decide who controls the empire that was once Giovanni Rossi's. The plan is simple. Take out Marco Ricci and disrupt the cartel's operations. But nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Vincent Moretti walks in, his expression unreadable, his presence commanding the room. The two men lock eyes. You're late, Luca says, the edge in his voice unmistakable. Vincent doesn't respond immediately, but the tension between them is palpable. The choices are clear: fight for the remnants of the Rossi family, or embrace the chaos that's quickly consuming them all. Tonight, alliances will shift, and only one group will remain standing. As the meeting progresses, Luca Vella feels the weight of every word exchanged. Vincent Moretti remains silent, his eyes shifting between Luca and Raul Castillo. There's an air of distrust hanging over the room. Luca knows he's walking a fine line, torn between two conflicting sides. Vincent is the enforcer, the muscle who built his reputation on loyalty, but loyalty has become a currency no one can afford anymore. Raul, on the other hand, represents something new, something dangerous. His alliance offers an opportunity, but at what cost? Luca feels the gnawing sense that he's being played on both sides. Vincent finally speaks, his voice low and dangerous. You can't trust him, Luca. He's using you. The words hit harder than he anticipated. Raul responds with a cold smirk, unbothered by the accusation. You've never understood, Vincent. In this world, there's no room for loyalty. Only power. Luca's head spins. Is Vincent right? Or is Raul the one who understands the game better? The lines are blurring, and Luca has to decide if he's still fighting for the family, or if he's just another pawn in a larger game. The hit is set in motion. Luca Vella and his team are in position, preparing to strike. The tension in the air is suffocating, as Luca waits for the signal. This is the moment where everything will change. The fate of the Rossi family, the cartel's power, and Luca's place in it all. The countdown begins. Raul Castillo is ready, his men poised to act. Vincent Moretti, however, looks uneasy. He's been a part of the Rossi family for too long to simply let it go. As Luca steps forward, the weight of his choices comes crashing down. This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about taking control. But as the first shots ring out, Luca realizes that this isn't just a battle for power. It's a battle for his soul. The gunfire echoes through the night, and the world he once knew begins to unravel. In the distance, the sound of sirens wails, signaling that the storm is far from over. The aftermath of the hit leaves Luca Vella standing in the ruins of what was once a thriving empire. The Rossi family is fractured beyond repair, and the cartel is in control. Luca feels the weight of the decisions he's made. As Raul Castillo's forces sweep through the streets, Vincent Moretti approaches Luca with a cold, grim expression. You did what you had to do, but now there's no going back. Luca knows that everything has changed, but the full scope of the consequences hasn't hit him yet. The power he sought has come at a price, and it's a price that will haunt him for the rest of his life. He looks at Vincent one last time, the last vestiges of their once solid alliance slipping away. I never wanted this, Vincent, but this is the world we live in now. As the sound of helicopters echoes in the distance, Luca knows that his fight is far from over. The war has only just begun. The weight of the events from the past few days presses down on Luca Vella. The world he's known is collapsing, but now he has a single burning question. Who's behind it all? Raul Castillo had been a convenient ally, but Luca can't shake the feeling that there's more at play. After the hit on the cartel's operation, Luca finds himself digging deeper into the mysterious connections between Marco Ricci and the cartel. The pieces are slowly falling into place, but there's one name that keeps coming up. Victor Silvano, a shadowy figure whose influence has wormed its way into every corner of the underworld. The cartel, Marco, even Raul, they were all pawns in a much larger game. Luca feels the cold grip of betrayal tightening around him as he finally connects the dots. Victor Silvano is the one pulling the strings, and it's his empire that needs to be torn down. But as Luca pieces together the horrifying truth, he realizes that it may already be too late. Silvano's reach extends beyond the Mafia. It touches politicians, law enforcement, and even corporations. The scale of the operation is staggering, and Luca now understands that to take down Silvano, he will need to make the ultimate sacrifice. The phone call with Marco Ricci is terse, each word laden with suspicion and regret. Luca can feel the tension between them over the line. You should have known, Luca. You're not the only one with secrets. The words echo in Luca's mind as he stands face to face with Marco, in a cold underground garage. Marco has always been a trusted confidant, but Luca now sees him for what he truly is, a traitor. The man who once swore allegiance to the Rossi family is now the puppet of Victor Silvano, and the truth cuts deeper than any blade. You've been playing both sides, Marco, all this time, Luca says, his voice low but steady. Marco's eyes flicker with a mix of guilt and defiance, but his smirk never fades. I did what I had to do to survive. We all have our part to play in this world. The words sting, and the realization sinks in. Marco never cared about loyalty, family, or legacy. He only cared about power. As Luca raises his gun, the weight of the decision is unbearable. He knows Marco must die, but the cost of killing someone he once trusted is impossible to ignore. After the confrontation with Marco, Luca Vella is left reeling, but the game is far from over. Raul Castillo's motives remain a mystery, and Luca is no longer certain if they are truly allies. Raul has been working with him, but it's becoming increasingly clear that there's more to his involvement than simple revenge. Luca confronts him, their conversation taking place in the shadows of a deserted building. You've been playing me, Raul. I want the truth now, Luca demands. Raoul's expression hardens, the warmth in his eyes replaced by something colder. I never played you, Luca. I just knew who to trust. He pauses, letting the words sink in. You think this war is just about the cartel, don't you? It's about Victor Silvano's empire. You can't take him down with just a few guns and a hit. It's much bigger than that. Luca feels the ground slip beneath him as Raoul continues. Victor Silvano had infiltrated every part of the world they knew. Law enforcement, government, and the financial system. It was impossible to fight an enemy who owned the world. But Raoul offers a solution. We bring him down from the inside. We take everything he's built. Luca's mind races. The plan is bold, dangerous, and ruthless. But it might be the only way. With Raoul's plan in mind, Luca Vella sets off to find Victor Silvano, the elusive mastermind who has been orchestrating everything from the shadows. The city feels different now, colder and more dangerous. Luca understands that to survive, he must strike first. As Luca enters an old run-down building at the heart of Silvano's operation, he feels the gravity of his choices. This is no longer about revenge. It's about taking control of the empire that has defined his life for so long. Victor Silvano is waiting. He's always been one step ahead, and Luca knows that this confrontation will be his last chance. When they meet, Silvano isn't surprised. I knew you'd come for me, Luca, he says with a calm, calculating smile. But it's too late. The game is over. Luca steps forward, gun in hand. No, it's just beginning. With a single pull of the trigger, everything changes. As the gunshot echoes through the building, Luca Vella feels a momentary release. Victor Silvano crumples to the ground, the power he once held slipping away like sand through his fingers. But Luca knows the battle isn't over. There are still people loyal to Silvano, still forces at work behind the scenes, and the consequences of his actions are just beginning to unfold. As the dust settles, Luca realizes that there's no going back. He has destroyed one empire only to find that another is rising in its place. The world of crime is a never-ending cycle, and Luca is now at the center of it. The price of victory is high, but the game is far from finished. Luca stands over Silvano's lifeless body, the weight of his choices pressing down on him. This is just the beginning, he mutters, as he prepares for the storm that's still to come. The night is eerily quiet as Luca Vella stands on the rooftop, gazing out at the city skyline. The weight of the choices he's made over the past few days presses down on him. The death of Victor Silvano has thrown the criminal world into chaos, and the fallout is only beginning. The empire Silvano built may be in ruins, but the power vacuum he leaves behind has already started drawing attention. New factions are rising, each one eager to seize control. The alliance with Raul Castillo has opened up new opportunities, but the cost is steep. Luca has crossed lines that can't be uncrossed. He knows that in this world, power is fleeting, and the more you take, the more you risk losing. The phone rings, breaking his thoughts. The voice on the other end is familiar. Vincent Moretti. It's time, Luca. They're moving in. If we don't act now, everything you've done will be for nothing. The storm is coming, and Luca can feel it in his bones. There's no turning back now. The meeting takes place in an old warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Luca Vella, Raul Castillo, and Vincent Moretti stand around a table, a large map of the city spread out in front of them. The plan is set: strike fast, hit their enemies where it hurts, and secure control of the territories left behind by Victor Silvano. But there's something in the air, a sense of unease that none of them can shake. The power struggle is more than just business, it's personal. Vincent eyes Raul warily, knowing that this alliance is fragile. Raul, ever confident, seems unfazed by the tension. Luca listens to their discussions, his mind focused on the bigger picture. He knows that once the first shot is fired, there will be no turning back. There are enemies on all sides, and betrayal is a given in this world. But Luca is prepared. He's fought for everything he has, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to hold on to it. The game has changed, and now it's about survival. The first shots are fired before dawn, signaling the beginning of the assault on the rival families. Luca Vella leads the charge, his face set in determination as he moves through the chaos of the streets. The sounds of gunfire echo in the distance, mixing with the roar of engines and the shouts of men preparing for war. Luca feels the adrenaline coursing through his veins, but there's no time for fear. He's been through too much to hesitate now. Raul Castillo's forces are swift and deadly, while Vincent Moretti's men move with precision and ruthlessness. The rival families fight back hard, but Luca's team is better prepared, better organized. As the battle intensifies, Luca catches sight of a familiar face in the crowd. It's Marco Ricci, still alive, but surrounded by enemies. Luca doesn't hesitate. He pulls the trigger, ending the threat once and for all. The battle rages on, but with every blow struck, Luca feels the weight of what he's become. As the battle rages on, Luca Vella is forced to confront the true cost of his actions. The rival families are broken, but so are his own forces. Raul Castillo and Vincent Moretti have proven their loyalty, but Luca realizes that loyalty in this world is fleeting. The city is in chaos, and power is slipping through his fingers. The streets are littered with bodies, and the once thriving empire that Giovanni Rossi built now lies in ruins. Luca walks through the wreckage, the weight of his decision settling on his shoulders. The war is far from over, but there's no going back. As he reaches the heart of the battle, Luca knows that survival will come at a price, and it's a price he's not sure he's ready to pay. The question now is whether he can truly seize control, or if he'll be consumed by the same empire he fought to rebuild. The aftermath of the battle leaves Luca Vella standing at the ruins of what was once his empire. The streets are littered with the bodies of fallen allies and enemies alike. The power he sought has come at a heavy cost, and the price of victory is steep. Raul Castillo and Vincent Moretti are at his side, but even their loyalty seems fragile in this new world. Luca feels the weight of his choices pressing down on him as he surveys the damage. His empire is no longer just a collection of territories. It's a symbol of everything he's lost. Raul approaches him, a rare moment of understanding passing between them. "You did what you had to do, Luca," he says, his voice quiet. Luca doesn't respond immediately, his gaze fixed on the destruction around them. The world they fought to control has changed, and Luca knows that nothing will ever be the same again. He looks at Vincent, who gives him a silent nod of understanding. The fight is over, but the consequences will echo through the streets of the city for years to come. The battle that has consumed Luca Vella's life is finally coming to an end. Standing in front of the remnants of Victor Silvano's empire, he knows the final confrontation is inevitable. Vincent Moretti stands beside him, and Raul Castillo watches from the shadows. Luca has fought for survival, for revenge, and now for redemption. Silvano's legacy must be erased. Luca takes a deep breath, and as he moves toward the final showdown, he understands that his choices will determine if he lives or dies, and what's left of his soul. Luca Vella steps forward into the heart of the ruins, his heart pounding. Vincent Moretti turns to him, his voice a whisper. "Once we do this, there's no going back, Luca." Raul Castillo nods, his eyes cold and unyielding. Luca can feel the weight of the moment. Everything he's done, everything he's sacrificed, has led to this choice. To destroy Victor Silvano, he must destroy everything. The power, the family, and the loyalty he's held so tightly to. This is the point of no return. As Luca Vella faces the final confrontation with Victor Silvano, he sees the truth in Silvano's cold eyes. The man who once controlled everything now stands powerless. "You think you can stop this?" Silvano sneers. Luca responds, "I don't need to stop it, I just need to end it." In the final moments, Luca knows that the cost of ending this empire, of killing a part of himself, is the ultimate price. But it's the only way forward. He steps forward, raising his gun, ready to end it all. With a single pull of the trigger, Luca Vella ends Victor Silvano's reign. The gunshot echoes in the room, and as Silvano collapses to the ground, Luca feels nothing. The world he fought for, the empire he tried to build, has collapsed in on itself. Vincent Moretti and Raul Castillo stand by, silently witnessing the end. Luca knows that the fight isn't over. The world has changed, and so has he. There will be no rest, no peace, just survival in the ruins of the empire he helped destroy. Luca Vella walks through the ruins of Victor Silvano's empire. The battle is over, but the cost has been greater than he imagined. Raul Castillo and Vincent Moretti follow in silence, their faces unreadable. Luca has won, but there's no satisfaction in it. The city is broken, the people fractured, and Luca's soul is irreparably scarred. As they reach the edge of the destruction, Luca stops and looks out at the wreckage. The empire has fallen, but the question remains, is there anything left worth saving? The world that Luca Vella once fought for is no longer recognizable. The battle is over, and the streets are silent, filled with the echoes of war. Luca walks through the ruins, each step heavy with the weight of his choices. He has dismantled the empire, but the price of victory is the destruction of everything he once knew. Raul Castillo and Vincent Moretti stand beside him, but even they seem distant, their roles in this world now unclear. There is no celebration, only the bitter taste of survival. Luca Vella stands in front of a shattered mirror, looking at the man who has emerged from the ruins. His reflection is fractured, a symbol of everything that has been broken. The power, the empire, the trust, all of it is gone. Luca doesn't recognize the person staring back at him. He has sacrificed so much, but what does it all mean? Vincent Moretti's words echo in his mind. There's no going back. Luca realizes he has no place left in the world he once sought to control. Luca Vella sits alone in a dimly lit room, his thoughts consumed by the destruction he has wrought. The Rossi family is gone, the cartel fractured, and even Silvano's empire is but a memory. Luca has won, but at what cost? The loyalty he once held dear is gone, replaced by a bitter understanding that in this world, survival comes at a price. Raul Castillo's voice breaks his reverie. What now, Luca? Luca looks out the window, his response quiet but definitive. We move forward, but there's nothing left to fight for. The time has come for Luca Vella to make his final decision. The empire is gone, and the world is in ruins, but there's still a chance to rebuild. Raul Castillo has offered him a path, a way forward, but Luca knows that any future he builds will be tainted by the past. As Vincent Moretti walks into the room, his presence fills the silence. We can still take control, he says. But Luca knows that true control is an illusion. The only thing left is to walk away and leave the chaos behind. Luca Vella steps out of the building, the weight of his past decisions heavy on his shoulders. The road ahead is uncertain, but the world behind him is one he can never return to. The remnants of Giovanni Rossi's empire, Victor Silvano's legacy, and the battles fought are all in the past. Luca walks alone, with only the faint sound of footsteps behind him. As he disappears into the night, he understands that survival was never about winning. It was about living with the consequences of victory.